What is going on, guys? DBG here, and today we're going to be talking about something completely new. Something that kind of went under the radar in NBA 2K22 MyTEAM, lads. Before we get on to it, if you guys are new to the channel, subscribe. We're trying to hit 278,000 subscribers by the end of the day. We are right now 40 subscribers away. So if you guys are new to the channel and enjoy the game MyTEAM, subscribe. But anyway, now let's get on to it. So, if you guys don't remember, guys there were a couple of guys like Max Strus. Max Strus had a really bad release. It was fine off the catch, but basically this is the release that Max Strus used to have a release called Set Shot 4. He had a release called Set Shot 4. However, I can't even really show you guys Set Shot 4 anymore, because Set Shot 4 has just almost been eradicated from my team. So let's take a look at the database, lads. So, if we look here at all players, we look just, for example, let's look at Max, that is not how you spell Strus. Max Strus. And you look at his animations, JUMPSHOT 4. And originally it was just him and Gafford. So both he had a release called Set Shot 4, and so did Daniel Gafford. And then he got JUMPSHOT 4. JUMPSHOT 4 is one of the best releases in the entire game. So let's now take a look. If we search for lower base, so we search Set Shot 4. So we search Set Shot 4. They've gotten rid of it. Like, there were so many players. I'm just saying, there were so many players in the game. It was like one of the 5th or 6th most common release in the game. Now only Peja Stojakovic has Set Shot 4. They got rid of it on everyone except for Peja Stojakovic. The best, like, I'm just going to put this right now. Out of everyone with Set Shot 4, Peja Stojakovic was... Him and Steve Kerr were the two best shooters. And I will talk a little bit about Steve Kerr later, but they are the only two that did not get their releases completely changed to base 4. Steve Kerr and Peja, they are the only two. They're the two best shooters who had Set Shot 4. But they are the now the only two guys with Set Shot 4 who didn't have their release completely changed. So let's go to JUMPSHOT 4. So if you look at base 4 now, so Joe Walls always had it, Devin Booker always had it. Keith Van Horn now has it. So Keith Van Horn with this release now is an actual sniper. Like, he's still not the greatest defender in the world, but he's like you could compare him now to, like, he's not terrible. I didn't get Keith Van Horn, but now I'm kind of half annoyed I didn't, because he's not bad. Like, the difference is Set Shot 4 is fine off the catch. The problem with Set Shot 4 is that you literally, if your feet were not 100% set, it was the worst release in the game. And that's one of the things I realized when I was trying to use Max Strus, is that, like, if it's on a set, it's good on, I like it on a center. Like, if it's on a center where all they have to do is just wide open, spot open, shoot, Set Shot 4 is fine. But any sort of movement, Set Shot 4 becomes the worst release in the game. Like, any sort of, like, fading, any sort of off the dribble, it becomes the worst release. But off the catch, it was actually solid. But guys, a lot of guys have changed. So Dave Bing now no longer has Set Shot 4. Richie Garrett, obviously Dave Bing is a big one who no longer has it. Spencer Haywood now has base 4, so a future Spencer Haywood card could be a beastly card in the game. Mike Muscala becomes one of the best shooting centers in the game. Like, if you're looking for Ruby centers and you just want someone to hit shots and do nothing else, Mike Muscala becomes maybe the best shooting big man in the game. Obviously, he's not the best big man who can shoot. There are a million times better big men, but he's, in terms of pure shooting, he might be the best in the game. Rashard Lewis is going to be so chicken later on in the year. This card isn't. He's going to be so chicken. Even though, to be fair, what's his name? Muscala was a decent shooter anyway. And, like, again, there are worse releases than Set Shot 4. There are definitely worse releases. However, base 4 might be in the top 5 best releases in the game this year. Honestly, base 4 might be in the top 5 best releases. And then a lot of other guys, like Tyreek Evans, suddenly has base 4. When we're looking at other cards later in the year, Frank Ntilikina now has base 4. I'm trying to think who else had Set Shot 4 and not base 4. Austin Reeves, I'm pretty sure, had Set Shot 4. So, like, guys like Muscala, and Bing is the biggest one. Like, Dave Bing is the biggest one that is being changed because of this. Like, if you look at Dave Bing, I thought he was alright. I was like, oh, he's super underrated. Now he's straight up good. Now Dave Bing is a straight up good point guard. He went from being, oh, he's this super underrated point guard, now has like an entry level point guard So if you're looking to use Dave Bing, if you've just started off the game and you're looking for a center now, Dave Bing's fine. Like, for under like 4K, Dave Bing is Dave Bing is one of the top 4 or 5 point guards that you can use. Like, still, I would suggest to use Caruso because Caruso's so cheap. Caruso is so cheap right now. If you look at Amethyst Dave Bing, the guy's 2,000 MT. Like, this is what you're getting for 2,000 MT right now. Dude's cheaper. Obviously, super packs have came out and Amethyst are coming out every freaking pack. So, like, you're paying about 1,500 MT for Dave Bing. Give or take, 1,500. And what you're getting with Dave Bing now is you're looking at his stats and you're like, okay, he has a half Giant Slayer. He's got like Gold Dimer, Gold Lucky 7, Gold Blinders, Gold Downhill, Gold Quick for Step, Gold Sniper, Gold Bullet Passer, and things like Silver Clamp, Silver Pickpocket, Silver Interceptor, Silver Chef, Silver Circus 3s. So, like, this is a 1,500 MT card. 6'3", big player build, can shoot the 3-ball, can kind of dunk, solid perimeter defender, and really good speed with quick dribble style. So, like, this card is now very good. Like, he's now very, very good in game. Like, is he a top 10 point guard? No, but he's 1,500 MT. Oh, quick dribble stop. And look at that release now. Like, his release wasn't bad, wasn't awful before him, but he couldn't shoot off the dribble. That was what I used to always say. I was like, oh, Dave Bing is so good at shooting when he's wide open. If you leave Dave Bing wide open, he can shoot. But that was the problem, is that, like, he couldn't handle the ball. He was a point guard. Now he actually can handle it. Because, again, if you guys know what you're doing with Chef, if you guys know what you're doing with ball handling, with bursting, like, I'm not even the greatest at it, but still, you can pull off all of these things. He's got 4 hot zones. And there's a bunch, it'll happen to a bunch of guys throughout the year, a bunch of guys that would have otherwise got set shot 4, and they're going to get base 4, which is easily one of the best releases in the game. Or easily one of the better releases in the game, if not one of the best. Like, it's Devin Booker release. It's just it's a release that I've always liked in 2K. I think this year is the best base 4 has ever been. So it's a superb release. If you're just looking for a pure spot up center, you got Mike Muscala there. Especially if you're on a Ruby. Like, Mike Muscala, a lot of people thought his release was really awkward beforehand. I don't think anyone's going to be calling Mike Muscala's release awkward for a center right now. Like, he's not going to play any defense. I'm not going to be rushing out there and using Mike Muscala, but I mean, if there's any, like, weird XP challenges where it's like, oh, let's score 8 3-pointers with a center in one game, and you have a Muscala just sitting in your collection, he's probably the easiest player to do that with, because now he's got the easiest release degree in the game for a big. He's the best shooting big in the game. Obviously, he doesn't do anything but shoot, so I would never suggest to use him. But the point still stands. He has gone from being a pretty good shooter to the best shooting big in the game. But yeah, this is the player that is turned into suddenly the best budget card in the game. Like, Dave Bing has turned into... I gotta shoot a red for a thumbnail. He has turned into the best shooting... Or he's turned into the best budget point guard in the game. For his price. Like, again... Would I suggest to use... For most people to use Caruso? Yeah. Because if you guys don't know, Caruso is still... is really cheap. And the main difference is that... Bing's going to move better, but Caruso's going to be way better on defense with half interceptor. So, yeah, I would still put the slight edge in Caruso. But if you want... But he's better than IT. He's better than Isaiah Thomas. You're looking at a really solid card here in Bing. And, like, again, of the set shot 4 players, there's no great ones. Like, one thing is that, like, if it turns out that Peja Stojakovic gets a card next season with base 4... Instead of set shot 4, Peja could be a really good card in game, but he moves kind of slow. But yeah, if there were more players with set shot 4, like, if, for example, if we had a really good Tyreek Evans at this stage, I would be talking about Tyreek Evans. It's just, this is the only one specific card that is super cheap and has been made so much better from this. But it's the first time I've ever seen this happening. Every single player that has one release, except for, ironically, of the 2 shooters, Peja Stojakovic does straight up has set shot 4, and then there's a situation with Steve Kerr. If you guys follow me on TikTok, you've seen it. But the Steve Kerr one will be patched. Like, Steve Kerr is not going to have set shot 4 in a while. I don't know about Peja. Peja probably won't have in a while. But Steve Kerr is just a programming error that slipped through the cracks. But yeah, that is pretty much it, lads. Set shot 4 is no more. Ty Debo, rejoice. I didn't mind it. I hated it with a passion for the Max Drew challenges. Because, like, set shot 4, if it was, for me, I could green like 10 in a row set shot 4. The problem was that if you're like moving like this and you're catching a ball in this scenario, set shot 4 was the worst release in the game. Like you would get swatted every single time. If you were trying to create it off the move and stopping, set shot 4, you couldn't get it off. Whereas now, base 4, it goes from one of the worst to one of the best. So anyway, yeah, that's just green and 3. I'll end it right there. So yeah, anyone who, there's not that many players that it's involved, but again, the fact that like a Page Stojakovic later on in the year could have a way better release now. Someone like a Frank Ntilikina could have a way better release. So basically, anyone who has had that set shot 4 release has been changed. It's the first time we've ever seen a whole collection of players. We've seen individual players have their releases changed, whether it be making it better or in the Hito Turkoglu case, 2K19 making it worse. We've never seen a case where every player in the game bar 1.5, and with 0.5, like Steve Kerr, it changed for Steve Kerr and it didn't change for Steve Kerr. I'll explain later. But without that, it's just kind of crazy. So yeah, shoot away, lads. Shoot away for any with set shot 4 players. And lads, don't be stupid and buy Dave Bing for 3,000 MT after this video. Don't be stupid. He's not worth that. He's really not worth that. But if you're just starting off the game, Dave Bing is now an incredible point guard for 1,500 MT. So anyway, that's the video. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.